Welcome to Dark at Dark at Dark at Dark.
These old mamas. Mama! Let's get at it. Open your mind.
Dark Exodus. The protest. Dark Exodus. Open your mind.
You know.
Yes.
You know.
Dark Exodus. You understand? Yes. You understand? Open your mind. Dark Exodus. dark exodus.
And peace, folks. And welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old TPOT YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Tonight, good show for you folks tonight. I got the brother Perfectibillist up here. I've been waiting for this because me and the brother been trying to connect for a few weeks. I'm honored to have him on. He's willing to share his story with us tonight, right here on DXL on the TPOT YouTube page. Y'all already know what it is. DXL. I have to give a disclaimer because it might get a little graphic. It might get a little ugly, but y'all know what it is on DXL. That's how it goes down. Yeah. And of course, we up here discussing once again one of my favorite topics. These old mamas. Oh yeah, it's on tonight. DXL, Dark Exodus, live with Brother Perfectibillist. But before we get started, y'all know I always start the show like this. I want to thank all of you, man. I want to thank my subscribers, my supporters, my donors, the people who watch, the people who like the videos, share the videos, comment on the videos. Some of y'all even write me emails. I mean, y'all really support this platform. I mean, y'all really do. I mean, Lady Naima dropped a super chat before the show even started. I mean, that's the kind of people that I have. I mean, though you people, the way y'all support this platform, man, it's like unbelievable. That is why I always start the show off with thanking all of you, man. And like I always say, I don't do it to stroke you or kiss your black butts, because y'all know that's not what X does. But I just appreciate y'all, man. I mean, I'm humbled. I'm honored, because like I always say, man, you don't have to drop money on this platform. You don't have to waste your time showing up to these streams every week. You don't have to watch these videos. You don't have to do any of that. You don't, but you choose to do so, and you choose to do so for this platform. So before I start a show, I always thank you, not for just supporting this platform, but ultimately supporting me. And I'm appreciative of all of y'all, man. I am. I mean, I mean it sincerely. And like I always say, man, I keep doing this for y'all. And, we're going to get it right. We're going to get it better. We're going to do some things that y'all probably haven't seen on TPOT before. But I'm committed to, give y'all some stuff, man, give y'all some new looks, man, every season. And I appreciate all of y'all, man. Like I said, I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm appreciative, man. And I thank all of you. All right. All right. So let's get at it. Let me bring my man, Perfectibillist, up in here. We're going to get it going. And we're going to do a little roll call, too, as I bring my man in. What's good, Brother Johnny? I see you up there. Lady Naima with the super chat. Brother Kenny, what's good? Stoic One, what's good with your folks? All right. All right, let me see before I start. I don't want to leave nobody out. Hold on. Yeah, Third Degree Burns was good, man. All right. Now, Perfectibillist, brother, what's good?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Same old, man. I know we've been trying to do this for a few weeks. I just got back on the air, as you know, yesterday, moved to a new crib, shit's still easy. But I'm getting back, hopefully by next week I have, everything set up the way I want it set up. But that's neither here nor there. We're ready to throw down, man. I want to thank you for be willing to, come up here, man. And because you know how I am, man. I talk about Obama shit, boy. I get on it, because I think it goes untalked about, especially when it comes to black men. I mean, I don't think we really understand how much of an effect it has on us, the shit our mothers do and say to us, especially, when they're really abusive, type mothers. I mean, and I think that people kind of overlook it. And the reason why I titled the show Mama's Mea Culpa, because, Mea Culpa means, someone admitting fault or, recognizing that there's a fault with someone. And I
Okay.
think that a lot of times we don't want to admit that a lot of the shit that mama was doing when we were little was mama's fault, not our own. We don't want to indict mama for the shit that she does, because a lot of us, we have that worship of mama, even though mama's in the wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, I want to let brothers know that it's not your fault. And what the shit that mama was doing was wrong, and you have the right to say it. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead, man, and let you go ahead and spit what you got to spit, brother Perfectibillist. Pull the trigger.
I mean, I guess I could start by asking you. I mean, where would you like to start off on this thing?
Um, well, give us a little bit of history of what's going what well, how was it for you when you were little? I mean, when you were a young fella. I mean, how was it with you and your mom? How was it?
It was pretty much a situation where, how can I put this, man, without without exaggerating, but at the same time not downplaying it. I mean, it was really more so something, man, where I knew that at almost any moment it could go down, basically, you know, because as a matter of fact, think of this. I mean, things were so crazy at one point, man, that if any adult or any child around the neighborhood had an issue with me, you know, they simply knew that they can go make up a lie to tell on me or whatever the hell, go tell my mom a lie on me, and then she was just gonna like automatically flip out on me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how it used to go down, you know. And pretty much like I said in that comment on one of your videos, you know, I felt like I grew up basically as a punching bag, really. So whenever she was out there in the world, people upset her, stuff like that. Didn't want to deal with them. So the next best thing was to come home and take it out on, someone who can't fight back. So in large part, that was pretty much my childhood. But aside from that, though, I mean, everybody else, any other family member, I mean, I was cool with them. Things were fine with grandparents, aunts, and people like that. But it was just a home life, that was problematic.
Wow. So I'm assuming that your pops wasn't around.
Well, the thing about that, he wasn't, and for a lot of my life, I assumed that, it was some old, he just left, didn't want to be, a part of our lives, stuff like that. But I went to go and live with him when I was like 17 or 18. And basically he sat me down and told me his side of the story was that when basically he was 18 when I was born. I think he was a senior in high school. He was 18. So he told me that basically his plan was he was gonna like either join the military, you know, or he was gonna go to a trade school, obviously to learn a trade to, increase his likelihood of getting a decent job. So he wasn't accepted, I guess, into the military, for I forgot exactly what he said he was, but basically he didn't pass the physical. But he did say he ended up going to Job Corps, I think it was. But he said the issue, my mom did not want him to go to Job Corps because I think back then you had to like leave the state in order to go to Job Corps. So she had an issue with that and basically found somebody else, around town, and you know, I mean, pretty much kicked it with that dude.
So did your did your father know when you were little how your mother was treating you? That she was treating you like, a heavy bag at the boxing gym. Was your father aware of that?
That's a pretty good question because I really don't know, to be honest with you, because I never told him. You know,
Mm,
um, if he does know, it had to have gotten to him some other way.
wow. Well, not to be one to be assuming all night, but I assume that if he knew, he would take issue with it. Um, I know us men, we and I say this a lot, and I know people get tired of hearing me say it. Your old man doesn't just protect you from the rapist down the road, the boogeyman in the closet, or the monster under the bed. He also protects you from your old mama. So I'm assuming, yeah, he protects you from the monster that you live in the house with too. And I'm assuming that I pretty much assumed that he didn't know, because if he knew, she probably wouldn't be doing it as much. Um, how did that stuff affect you though? Like, if she was using you as a punching bag, I mean, how did it affect you? Like, did it make you violent? Did it make you introverted? Did it make you, I mean, what? I mean, how did it affect you, like, throughout high school? Because you said you went to live with your old man when you was like 17. So that means that, you went through, elementary school, you went to junior high, you was in high school, and when did it stop? Or did it ever stop until you moved out of her house?
Yeah, pretty much. When I left the house, but see, me going to live with my dad, I mean, that was only for like, a year or so. You know, I mean, so that's really all that was, really. You know what I'm saying? But I guess to like kind of back it up a little bit, you asked how did it affect me as a child and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I was extremely introverted. Um, as a matter of fact, I found out that I have what they call Asperger syndrome, which is basically on the autism spectrum. And one thing about us is that we have a really hard time, socializing with other people, you know. And for a large part of my life, that's been the thing. I've had a really hard time socializing with other people, so I've been extremely introverted. As a matter of fact, me sitting up here doing what I'm doing now, not only with you, but starting off by going on obsidian panels and stuff like that, that's something that I would never have done, you know. And the only reason I even did that though really was to, I guess, sort of force myself out of that. So yeah, the introverted part, definitely. Um, as far as like, did I become violent? I was extremely quick tempered. Let me just put it like that, you know, because it's like, I mean, you got things going on at home, you can't really say or do anything about that. So the moment you feel played outside of the house, it's like, I mean, you even say something I don't like, I don't care. I don't care how you meant it. I mean, there was a pretty good chance that we were going to be fighting, basically. So there was that aspect, man. But what was the other question that you asked? The other part of it?
Yeah, I was asking, like, did it make you introverted? How did it affect you, like, in school? Like, in school, how was it when you were in school? Because, she might have been whooping up on you right before you went to school, and whooping up on you when you came home. So, I mean, how was it? How was your school life when you were a young guy?
Well, one thing about me, well, like I said, with the other kids and stuff like that, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like that seemed to be no middle ground, man. Like either people like really took a liking to me, or they didn't like me at all. Because like I said, I had a really hard time socializing with other people. But for some odd reason, to my surprise, a lot of the teachers and people like that, the adults, took a liking to me and stuff. But as far as the home life, what was going on and stuff like that, it seems like a lot of the adults is like they knew something was wrong, but they couldn't quite put their hands on it. They couldn't quite figure it all the way out. because one thing I figured out how to do was basically how to live without telling anybody what's going on, because I
Mm,
mean, eventually you learn how to keep it all a secret. Because even when you're going through these sort of things, these bad home lives and stuff like that, when you're doing that, you know, you may have the abuser who's telling you, okay, well, if you think what I'm doing is bad, you mess around and go into foster care or something like that, then it's gonna be much worse. So you're like, oh well, hell, I sure as hell don't want that, So, you know, and nobody else loves you, all that kind of stuff. So I learned to
mm,
become really good at hiding what's going on. So as much as I could, I didn't tell anybody.
wow. So you weren't just getting beat down. You were also being conditioned to think that it was quote unquote normal.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Because I mean, it's pretty much the same way, like how you see a lot of these comedians and stuff. They'll go on stage and they'll make jokes about how badly they got beat on with these crazy, how they got hit on with different objects and stuff. People are like, what the fuck? I mean, I never made light of it like that, but that's pretty much that comes kind of close though.
Wow. Yeah, and I had asked you earlier, like, when did it stop? Like, I mean, did it?
Yeah, so go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, did it continue throughout your teenage years, or I mean, when did it
Well,
stop?
see, yeah, see, when it got to a point where I was big enough to where I can actually defend myself, of course the physical part of it stopped, you know, and that's where it got to a point where it's like, okay, obviously I can't handle you physically, but at that point it became more so mental, you know. I'm gonna cuss you out every chance I get, tell you that you ain't shit, fuck you, this and that, you ain't shit, you ain't gonna ever be shit, you retarded motherfucker, all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
wow.
I mean, so
Wow.
it became that kind of stuff. And even being told once that if I ever do anything, like it was something to the effect of, if you ever try to defend yourself against anything I'm doing to you, basically I'll kill you. I mean, that's what I was told at some point. I believe I was like maybe 11 or 12 years old or something like that. Basically hitting that preteen point to where I was, I guess right before getting to that size where I can physically defend myself, you know. But yeah, being told that, I mean, I never forgot that shit. I'm like, who the hell tells their kids something like that? You know?
These old mamas do. Um, how how did well, this is a two-part question. How did it affect the way you looked at, women, as far as dating and all that kind of stuff? And did did it affect the way you dated women? How did you look at women? And how did it affect how you dealt with women?
Okay. I guess I'll start with the second part first. I think you asked how did it affect the way I dealt with them?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me see. Now this is going to be interesting. Basically, I had the mindset that, how can I put this? I mean, my mindset was kind of, I guess I'm kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a vice versa type mindset. I mean, I can't think of the word exactly, but what I'm trying to say is that you had a lot of females who were actually pretty nice to me and stuff like that, man. I mean, they tried to show me as much as they could, but I had a mindset where I took where anybody tried to show me any kind of love or anything like that, I took it as you being out to get me. I'm like, motherfucker, I don't trust you. You know, that's kind of how I took it. So as far as me dealing with women and stuff like that, when a lot of them would come on to me, they're showing me how they feel. They're telling me, but I was always defensive like that. Like I don't trust you. You know, I felt like you was like secretly trying to, lure me in and you was gonna do me dirty or something like that. I mean, that's really how I felt. And it stayed that way up until shit, probably up until recent years. But
Wow.
I think the second part of your question was dating, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, the thing about it was like, I mean, of course I had, women that I dealt with and stuff like that, but it could never go too far because even if I did let up, that mindset that I just described to you would eventually show itself, you know, because at some point it's like, yeah, I know that what I'm doing is not right, but nevertheless, I still felt it no matter how much I tried to suppress that mindset. So I guess it was a sort of self-sabotage, I guess. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I talk about this stuff, and I'm a dude who was raised by my father. And, my mom, she had her shit about her too. But I knew so many brothers who went through like the exact same shit that you went through. I knew brothers who their moms used them as a punching bag. Um, I had friends that ran away from home because they got beat so bad and came to our house. I had a friend when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old that, as punishment, his mother used to throw him in the hot, boiling, scalding water and shit in the tub. I had another friend who his mother used to beat him with a antenna off of a car. I mean, I saw so much of this shit growing up. I had a couple friends that their mother would leave them in the house, man, and the power be out and shit. She ain't paid the light bill, the power be out, and they would have to come to our house because there was no electricity, and they would have to come to our house and eat. So I've seen it. I've seen these mamas in action firsthand. I mean, I have people in my family who have done some crazy shit. But that's why I talk about these old mamas the way I do. And you have no idea how many brothers like yourself that have wrote me and told me. I mean, I've had brothers write me, Brother Perfectibillist, when I've done shows, months and years ago. They have wrote me and they said, X, I listened to your show, brother, and I cried because it was like you was living in our goddamn house with the shit that you said, man. It's like you described, it was like you was in there writing a book, just in there, so I continue to do this because I want brothers to know that it's all right for them to talk about it. It's all right for them to release it. It's all right for them to not keep the secrets anymore. And that's what it's all about. It's all about keeping these secrets. And I know there's a lot of women out there who went through this shit. All right? They went through this shit too. But see, men, it affects us differently. You know why? Because see, it's a different dynamic because see, we have to deal with women. Okay? We have to deal with the opposite sex. So females have a tendency to kind of turn out like their mama, but men, we walk around with this pain, resentment. We feel like it's our fault that all this shit was going on. And black folks, we worship old mama anyway, no matter how trash of a mama she is. And all that shit is compounded. So that's why I bring brothers up here to talk about this stuff, man, because I think that it's needed. It's needed for people to hear these stories. It's needed for people to understand that it's okay to say that the shit that mama did was wrong. That old mama did the best she could shit is bullshit. Because see, if she really, and people have heard me say this before, if she really did the best she could, you wouldn't fucking be saying that.
And that's one of the last conversations that we had, like one of the last times that we talked. Because her and my brother got into it about something. Because see, the thing about my brother is that like he's way more vocal than I am. I mean, I'm the kind of person, I'm kind of laid back. Like we said earlier, I'm like really introverted. But my brother, he doesn't care. He'll say what's on his mind, stuff like this. But anyways, so she basically was telling me that he said something to her, about how horrible of a parent she was and stuff like that. And then she asked me what I thought, you know, and I put it in as nice a way as I could, you know what I'm saying? But and basically telling her my concerns and stuff. But then, she responds, she's like, well, I did the best I could as a parent. All right. Then I responded by telling her, I'm like, look, I mean, that may be how you feel, but I mean, would it hurt you to admit that you were wrong? All right. I mean, you may see it that way, but would it hurt you to admit that you were wrong? And also, I'm like, look, because I asked her, I'm like, okay, you tell us how you were brought up in a similar fashion. That's what you tell us. Obviously, when you were brought up that way, you didn't like it. And it stands to reason that since you didn't like it, you know, I mean, a logically thinking person, in my opinion, wouldn't do it to someone else. Because I have a child now, you know, I wouldn't dare do anything like that to him, you know, because hell, I know how I felt when it was happening to me. So there's no way in the hell I'll turn around and abuse him.
Well,
But
let me ask you this. Has she ever apologized for any of it?
no, no,
Oh yeah, I knew the answer to that one. You know, I just want.
no.
But see, that's the thing. This is the thing. She will never apologize. Okay, she'll never apologize. So never expect. And I tell brothers this all the time when they write me and shit like that. I tell them, do not expect an apology. The best you can do to set yourself free is let old mama know that you remember this shit. Because see, mom has buried it. You know, especially if it's happened a while ago, mom has buried it. Okay? Mom has buried it, and she's hoping that you have too. So the only way you can be free is you have to let mama know that you fucking remember this shit. She has to know that you remember. Now, a lot of the shit she'll claim she remembers, that she don't remember it, you know, which is a fucking lie. She remembers it. Yeah, she fucking remembers. She's just hoping that you don't. Okay? She's hoping that you don't. But the best thing you can do is let her know that you remember. Okay?
Yeah.
You also have to let her know that guess what? With all the shit you did to me, all the shit you put me through, all the abuse, all the name calling, all that shit, I still grew into something. No thanks to you. You have to do this because if you don't, you will never be free. I tell brothers that shit all the time. If you don't, you will never be free. You
And the
won't.
thing about it, man, is like when I left you to comment on the one video of yours, I mean, I was pretty detailed about what exactly was on my mind that day because
Oh yeah, I read it.
I was pretty heated that day because the show that you all were doing was about, I think it was the lady in Houston or somewhere like that who basically beat the fuck out of her son right there at the school, man. You know, and I'm
Yep.
like, I was heated behind that, man. So I was pretty detailed in the response that I typed up, describing, how I felt about my childhood. Now, I may not be as hardcore as I was in that response and talking to you now, and because see, recently, man, I said to myself, see, the thing about me is that, I tend to hold on to a lot, you know,
Mm.
people who done me dirty and stuff like that, I would tend to hold grudges. Like people who may have done me dirty like 20 or so years ago, I'm like, bitch, if I see you again, I'm gonna kill you on sight. Like that was my mindset on a lot of things, and I was dead ass serious, by the way. But I'm like, you know what, bro? All these grudges and the stuff like that, you gotta let it go, man. You know, people who done you wrong and stuff like that, while you may have a legitimate grievance or whatever, you gotta let that stuff go. I mean, not
Yeah,
not not for their sake, not for their
for
sake.
yours.
Exactly, for my own sake. Cause I'm like, bruh, you're not hurting nobody but yourself by holding on to this stuff. It's like you're slowly killing yourself. All that anger, all that foolishness, man. So I'm like, you gotta let it go. Even that mess with her, you got to let it go.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
again, you're not hurting nobody but yourself. So that's been
Yeah,
my
well,
mindset recently. Oh, go ahead.
us black men, we carry this shit with us, man. And we carry it on our backs, man, like a 500-pound boulder and shit, man. And it hampers us, man, and it it shackles us because there's so much resentment and shit. And I say again, I tell brothers, don't keep the secrets. Now, people have wrote me and be, oh man, you hated your mother. No, I didn't hate my mother, but I hate yours because of the way she treated your black ass. I hate yours because she fucked you up. I hate yours because she's convinced you that all the bullshit that she did to you was right. It was normal. And you shouldn't say anything about it. You should take those secrets to the grave like her black ass is going to do. So I don't hate my mother, but I do hate yours. Yeah, I do hate yours. So they got it all mixed up, because, see, my mother been dead since 2014. And, my mother had her shit about her, but, I mean, I had my old man to protect me. So I didn't have to go through a lot of the shit that brothers went through. I could imagine because my mom was kind of a mean lady. I mean, I didn't get along. I got along better with my mother when I was an adult than I did when I was a child. And I could just imagine how shit would have been if I didn't have my old man. I could just imagine if my mom just raised us by herself. We'd have been finished. So I don't hate my mother, but I do hate y'all old mamas. Cause I know they fucked you up. Yeah, I know they fucked you up. But as I was saying, us black men, we have a tendency we carry this stuff with us, man. And it has an effect on not only how we deal with women and our relationships and how we look at women and all that kind of shit, man. It has an effect on how we look at ourselves. Now, mind you, some of us, I would like to think of the majority of us have a tendency to kind of, we kind of like break out of it and shit. But some of us, I know we never do. I know we never break out of it. We never break out of that maternal spell that mama has over us. And a lot of us, we are eternally mama's boys, even though mama treated us like shit. Because, see, while she was treating us like shit, she was letting us know that she was telling us that this shit was love. When I was breaking that broomstick over your head, that wasn't abuse. That was love. When I was throwing your ass down the stairs, that wasn't assault. That was love. When I was punching you in your face like you was a grown man, that wasn't brutality. That was love. So as a child, if someone's brutalizing you, man, and disguising it as love, huh?
I said, did I tell you about those things specifically?
No.
I might. Well, no. Okay. Well, damn. Okay, go ahead.
No.
Damn. Okay.
Well,
okay.
I bet you a lot of that stuff happened, though.
That's why I asked. That's why I asked you. Like, damn, did I tell you all that? Well, okay, go ahead.
I'm telling you, man. I've talked to so many brothers. You know why I decided talking about these mamas the way I do over the last year or two is because I talked to so many brothers, behind the scenes. And like I said, growing up, I saw it. Growing up, I witnessed it. I've seen it in recent years with people that I know. I've seen children being brutalized. I've seen it on the internet. I've seen it on YouTube and Facebook, and it's all over the place. And no one wants to fucking talk about it. No one wants to talk about how these goddamn women do these children. And they're still doing it today. They weren't just doing it when you were little, when I was little. It's happening right now. Right now, some young boy is getting brutalized by one of these old mamas. And, right now.
And the crazy thing about the game today is that, hell, when they do it today, like you have some of them who feel like they're so not wrong in doing it that they will actually record it and put it on the internet. Like, I mean, Absolutely. That is really like they don't believe that they're wrong, so they'll do that.
And
I mean,
not, really and not only that, brother Perfectibillist, you got people looking at the shit.
Won't even see shit. Yeah.
Cheering it on. You go, mama. Yeah. Because, see, they just got done breaking the broomstick over their son's head, too. So, there it is. But, so, tell me,
go ahead.
won't you tell the folks, go ahead and tell the folks about some of the shit old mama would do to you? It's not like I don't already know, but maybe 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 some of the folks don't
Well,
can't
let me see,
imagine.
man. I mean, at the risk of upsetting myself and stuff like that, man, it just used to be all kind of little stuff, man. Beatings with extension cords, sometimes several times a day. You know, I mean, just being unable to do regular kids things without, getting, her getting upset and, basically wanting to beat you for every little thing. I mean, nothing was hardly ever talked about. There was never any sitting down, telling you about life and why you shouldn't do certain things. I mean, everything had a physical consequence to it, you know. And I used to absolutely dread when her friends would come around because, like, she had this thing where she liked to show out for her friends by basically, showing them, yeah, yeah, I'm tough on my kids, that sort of a thing. You know what I'm saying? And I recall an incident where I was like 5 years old or something like that, and we're over one of her friends' house, and I'm talking to the friend's little girl. We're about the same age, and for some reason to try to impress the friend, I don't know, man, but I know this motherfucker like threw and hit me in the head with a heel shoe, just to like,
Damn.
and she's like laughing about the shit, and I'm over there in pain, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it used to be shit like that, man. You know, and it's happened for a long time. And it's kind of funny that you mentioned the whole broomstick thing because when I got to a point where I could physically defend myself, I'm not a small child anymore. Like, she called herself trying to smack me and stuff like that. But I blocked her, so she went and grabbed the broom and started trying to beat me with that shit until I snatched it from her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and see, that's when that day I literally ran away, went to one of my aunt's house and stuff like that, and you know. But going back to when I was younger, I mean, all kind of look crazy ass shit. I remember one time, cause see, I had an infection in my left ear to where my ear would swell up, and doctors had to lance it in order to drain it, stuff like that. So I got bandages on it, you know, painful process. And one day she got mad at me about something, and she punched me in that ear, you
Mm.
know. Yeah.
The ear
So
that you just had got surgery on.
yeah. So it
Wow.
used to, man. I mean, it used to be all kind of little stuff, man. I mean, I'm just really scratching the surface on the kind of stuff that I mean, I really don't want to dig up those memories, man, but I'm really just scratching the surface on a lot of what used to go on, man. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I really thought about it, I could,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
I can imagine because I talk about this kind of shit all the time.
yeah.
I can imagine, brother. I can imagine.
But,
Well,
but
let
this,
me
but
ask you this: when you were a younger guy, did you think all the shit that was happening to you, all the beatings and all that shit, did you think that the shit was your fault? Did you think that you were just a kid that was that wrong and that messed up that you got all these beatings? Did you think that?
for a large part of my life, man, I always, truth be told, man, as crazy as this shit may sound, I always just saw myself as being an evil motherfucker, man. I mean, that's
Mm.
like how I literally saw myself, man, for a large part of my life. I'm like, man, you're the devil or something, man. Like, cause that's the kind of stuff I used to hear. You're such a bad child, this and that, and you know, I used to hear that shit a whole lot, and that's how I saw
Wow.
myself. Like, whatever goes wrong is my fault. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, it wasn't until recent years that I shook that mindset.
So, how's your relationship with your mother now? How is it now? Do
Well,
you guys
I
get
mean,
along?
well, we rarely talk, unless she calls herself, asking, calling, asking for money or something like that. But outside of that, we rarely talk. I mean, but sometimes she may want to, you know, have my son come over her house, like with my brother's kids or something like that, when all of them are over her house. I mean, and usually I'm hesitant, to do that, but you know, I don't want to deny my son. I don't want to deny him access to his to his cousins and stuff like that. So I let that go. But at first I was hesitant about that though. But as far as our relationship, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Wow. Well, I've always wanted to ask brothers like you this, now that you have, children and a small child, is it Is it hard to trust your children around your mother,
Oh
knowing
yeah.
how she treated you when you were little?
Oh yeah, and see, one of those the conversation that I was telling you about earlier, that was actually a point that I brought up. I mean, I just thought about that when you asked that question. I actually brought that up. I was telling her like that's one reason why, when he goes over to your house, you know, I mean, I'm nervous because I mean, I remember what used to go down with me and you back in the day. So I'm nervous, but I'm telling her, I'm like, I don't know, maybe you have a mindset now where you want to make up what you did to me by being the nice grandparent. Maybe so. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, I'm still nervous.
Mm. Do you fear that the kid may do something that may tick grandma off, and
Oh yeah.
grandma might tear into him like she used to do you?
Oh yeah. Like I said, that be in the back of my mind all the time. All the time. So, but like I said, I mean, to her credit, as far as that goes, I will say that she does seem to be very lenient with him. You know, I guess so.
Well, believe it or not, they have a tendency to redeem themselves, when they get older, I guess, because it's not technically their kid, it's their kid's kid. So there's a different element there.
Yeah.
And usually within that context, the grandmother isn't raising the kid per se. She's
Yeah.
just kind of spending time with the kid because you come and you pick the kid up at the end of the week, end of the weekend, whatever the case may be. So in theory, she's not raising the kid. The kid is just kind of visiting. So it's a different dynamic. Plus I ass a lot older now. So it's not, she deals with her frustrations. Yes, it's the truth. She deals with her frustrations and all that bullshit differently now. Ass old now. Back when she was young, and pretty and curvy, and men were chasing her and all that kind of shit. Things were a lot different. She was a different person now. Mom old now. Because see, that's another thing. With us black folks, and I think it fucks with women more than it does men. See, they have a tendency to do shit to you like, number one, your kids are never going to grow up. Number two, her black ass ain't never going to get old. Okay? They have a tendency to do shit that way. But guess what? You do grow up, and her black ass do get old. So now it's a different time. It's a different life. So she kind of operates differently. That's just the way it is. Because see, that's what you're going to get, man. Most of the time when you're dealing with these old mamas.
That thought crossed my mind, bro.
That's what you're gonna get, man.
That
That's
thought
what you're gonna
definitely
get.
crossed my mind, man. Yeah, I've thought about that several times, not only in my own situation, but people that I knew who came up, in a similar fashion. I'm like, do these mothers, these mothers ever stop to think that, how the relationship is gonna be like when we get older and stuff like that? I mean, I thought about it as an adult because see, and what made me think about that was like you will hear some of these women who may have done something similar. They're complaining about how their kids really don't want much of anything to do with them these days. You know, some less, some more. But nonetheless, they'll say such things. My daughter, my son, they're not fooling with me these days. And yeah, I understand that I was rough on them growing up, but I don't get that. But see, me being the kind of person I am, bro, you know, I've always had a tendency to look at what I'm doing today and think about how it could affect me sometime down the road. That's how I think. So I'm like, have they ever stopped to think that, okay, I'm mistreating this person now, but there's gonna come a day when I'm gonna need them, and how are they going to be there for me based on how I'm treating them today? I mean, that's my mindset. But I often wonder, like, do y'all ever stop to think this while y'all are doing this shit? Because I was telling somebody, it was a family member who I guess my mom went and told them about one of our last conversations, I guess. And they asked me, like, man, what's going on, man? I'm like, look, bro, it's easy to be humble, when you need help, your back's against the wall and stuff like that. Yeah, it's easy to be humbled in, man. But when you have the advantage, when you're the one who's on top, you don't need that person. If you're really a genuine person, if you're really a good person and stuff like that, you'll let it show then. Because see, when your back's against the wall and you need help and shit like that, you're getting older now and all that. Like, look, anybody can be humbled in. Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Yep.
So
that's pretty much all you can do is be humble because you're black ass in need, and see, that's the thing, man. And I say this a lot, man, and I've said it before that, a lot of us, we are so deeply indoctrinated. We worship the hell out of our mamas because a lot of us, that's all we had. Okay, that's all we had. So being that that's all we had, it was like, well, she treated us like shit. She beat the hell out of us. She beat us bloody. She whooped us with baseball bats and shit like that. But she did feed us, clothe us, house us, and buy us shoes and shit. So we have a tendency to kind of balance it out. We justify it because she did take care of us, and dad wasn't around. So fucking what? Dad wasn't around. Who the hell else was supposed to do it? I mean, she don't get. I don't believe these women should be given some fucking credit, just because they fed you, clothed you, and housed you and shit. All right. I don't give a fuck if your dad wasn't around. That was what the fuck she was supposed to do. She also was supposed to give you counsel, guidance, instruction, protection. She also was supposed to do that for you. See, she filled the void of counsel, guidance, and instruction with fucking abuse, verbal abuse, beatings, okay? Beatings, emotional abuse, trauma. See, she got rid of all those other things and filled it with that shit. All under the fucking tent. All under the tent of love. Like, that was love. Like, I'm doing this because I love you. Your nose is bleeding because I love you. I'm whipping you with a fucking extension cord because I love you. I'm busting you in the head with a 2x4 because I love you. How fucking backwards and sick is that, man? Come on.
And that kind of goes towards what I was saying earlier about how, like I said, when females would actually be nice to me, not just those around my age, but women who were old enough, to be a mother or whatever, when they were actually nice to me, I always saw it as a threat. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck, So I guess it's part of that mindset because it's like I'm so used to the opposite. I'm like,
Yep.
You must have some up your sleeve or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I saw things. But
you probably would have felt better if she had walked up and hit your ass with a shoe. You'd have thought she loved. You would have thought she loved you and shit.
Would have. You know what I'm saying? Kind of had the mindset like, man, look. I know you want some bullshit. Let's go and get this over with. Go ahead and do what's on your mind.
If she'd have walked up and hit your ass with a damn one of them red bottoms and shit, you'd be like, God damn, girl,
like,
I think I love you.
Nigga, she's real.
Yeah, now she's real. What's up, dude? What? Oh shit! This a keeper right here.
But you know what though, man? Like, now that I think about it though, man, like all throughout my childhood, like my dad had always told me, anytime you want to come stay with me, you want to come stay out here, you can, But I was always told, like, man, if you go out there and stay with your daddy, he's a really mean guy. You think it's bad over here, go out there and stay with him. You really ain't gonna like it. But he used to tell me that all the time. You can come stay out here. Anytime, just let me know. I'll send you, because he stayed out of state. He lived out of state. So that was like, for me, it's like, okay, I'm already established here. This is where all my friends are at, most of the family. So, I mean, it's kind of hard, kind of hard to leave, all that for a whole new
Yeah.
place. That's one thing. But after you've been told that Stan, if you go live with him, he's this evil dude. He gonna treat you even worse than I'm doing, all that kind of stuff. So, and it actually became a threat at some times, like, she don't like what I'm doing, I'm gonna send you to your dad. It was like, no, please don't,
Um,
that kind of thing. But when I finally
so
did go, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead. Finish your
And I was
statement.
just gonna
I'll ask
say,
you later. Go
so
ahead.
back to what I was saying earlier, when I finally went to go and stay with him for like maybe a year or so, and he told me what happened, I'm like, man, I'm like, okay, you just basically filled in like a lot of missing pieces. Because I knew that the story that I told, that I was told, there was all kind of holes in it. It didn't sound like the complete story, you know, to make it sound like, okay, well, when you were born, he just left the state to go to Job Corps, and that's it. you know.
Mm,
But he says, well, yeah, I did leave the state to go to Job Corps, but my plan was to come back and get a job so that we could actually be a family. But she didn't want me to leave
mm,
the state.
wow.
Yeah.
Was that part of it? Like, did she build him up to be such a monster and then threaten to send you to where the monster was if you messed up? Was that what was going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And I bet you your old man was nothing like what she said, was he?
No, man. No. You know, as a matter of fact, even though it was out of my control, but that's one of my regrets in life today, is that I didn't take him up on that offer. Because I felt like, had I done that, I could have turned out a lot better in life. Because there are, some characteristics, that, obviously you would have picked up, from having a father in your life, that I could have picked up much earlier on in life, man, had I done that. But I didn't know any better. You talking about a small child, early teen, stuff like that. Can't necessarily blame myself on that one, I guess.
I mean, none of that shit is your fault, man. I mean, and I say again, man, for the third time tonight, man, brothers gotta realize, man, it ain't their fault that their mama was fucked up and treated them like shit, despite of what she tells you. And I've told many brothers, man, I've been telling brothers this shit for about 10 years now. If your father wasn't around when you were small, and that man is still alive and your ass is an adult, before you start to hate that man, go find that man and get his side of the fucking story if you know who he is. Don't just hate him because your old black ass mama says to hate him. Go listen to that man's story and decide for yourself. Because I guarantee you, 99% of the time, brothers, it ain't gonna be none of the shit that your old mama told you. It's just not. You think she gonna tell you that your pop went off to do some real shit to come back and take care of you? You think she's gonna tell you, oh, I was a hoe and I fucked your daddy's brother, that's why he left? She's not gonna tell you. She's not going to tell you any of that shit, man. She's not. She's going, oh, your daddy, he didn't want you. He wasn't no good. He just left us. He hated us. He didn't want a family. That's what they're going to say. They're not going to say that they decided to take off and be with another fucking man and left in the middle of the night with you and your brothers and sisters. They're not going to tell you that, man. They're going to make your father be the bad guy. Your father is going to be the villain no matter what happened. So I say again, brothers, if you are an adult and your father wasn't in your life, if that man is still alive, go find that man. Get his story. I guarantee you it's going to be totally different. It's going to be totally different than the shit you hear from these old, old mamas. I'm telling you, do it. Listen to that man's story, and I guarantee you, you'll figure out. See, that's one of the worst things that I think happens. I mean, the beatings and the brutalization and the abuse aside, it's the fucking lies that you get fucking told from your old mama. The fucking the shit that she just makes up. Not just about you, you know, because she'll make up shit about you and say this is wrong with you, that's wrong with you. She'll make up shit about your old man. She'll make up shit about your whole life. A lot of times as young men, man, we grow up living a fucking lie. Our whole lives, many of us, are a fucking lie. And we don't start seeing the truth till we get the fuck away from her. That's just what it is. And a lot of us, we continue to live the lie today because we just won't indict old mama. We won't do it.
And you know what, man? That part, you know, trying to go back to something that you said earlier, when you mentioned like basically providing, I guess you can say, what are the bare necessities of life and stuff like that. Now, when I got to be a teenager, you know, I guess she felt like she didn't want to do that for me or whatever. You know, it got to a point where, you know, she wouldn't, you know, I mean, wouldn't buy me any clothes, nothing like that, you know. No shoes. Yeah, I mean, hell, I guess I had to, you know, eat whatever. You know, I mean, well, that was a sufficient amount of food in the house. But as far as like clothing and other things that I needed, she just felt like I don't have to do shit for you. You know, I don't want to spend my money on you. So that pretty much led to me making the decision to, cause see, the thing about it was, if you wanted to get a job back then as a teenager, you needed your parents' permission, at least in my state. You know what I'm saying? So there was that. Because I think like you had to have a school permit, no, what was it, like a work permit? It had to be signed off by somebody at the school and by your parents, obviously. You know, she wouldn't cooperate, you know, you don't need a job, etc. I'm like, well, hell, you won't do anything for me. I'm wearing these two little ass clothes and stuff like that. And, you know, and you got it on your mind that you don't want to, you know, doing it. So I'm like, fuck it. You know, I went to one of the OGs where we stayed at. I mean, you know, we pretty much grew up in the hood, but you know, went to one of the OGs, got him to front me a bag and front me an ounce of weed. So I mean, I started hustling, you know, kept that up for a little minute. And you know, so that's how I got involved in that kind of thing for a minute.
Yeah. A lot of times, man, these old mamas, man, force you into that. You get forced into that because you're a young. I mean, look, let me be clear with the brothers. When you are young, you don't have any control over where you live, where you eat, the clothes you wear, whether or not you got a fucking bed or water or lights or any of that shit. You don't have any control over that. She does. So when you get to an age of awareness where you say, hey, look, I need sneakers. Mama ain't buying me none. I need jeans. Mama ain't buying me none. I need a coat. Mama ain't buying me none. She kind of forces you to do for yourself at a very young age.
Well,
at a very young
14,
age.
15, yeah. Like 14 or 15
Now,
around the time, man. But yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say that something's wrong with that, you know, because I worked when I was a young guy too, but I worked because it was something that I wanted to do. It wasn't because, you know, I wasn't getting shit. It wasn't because, you know, I wasn't eating. It wasn't because my goddamn feet was hanging out my damn sneakers and that kind of shit. And these old mamas, what they'll do is they will have their kids living pillar to post. They'll have them living in dire straits. They won't do shit for them. But every Friday night, her black ass is going out. Every Friday night, she got a new dress on, a new wig on, a new pair of shoes. But somehow she just can't manage to do that shit for the kids. Somehow she just can't manage to provide for the kid. I mean, somehow herself is more important than you. And you start to feel that when you're a young guy. You're like, wait a minute. Mama got on new shoes, but my goddamn toes is touching the gravel out of my shoes. Mama got on a new dress, but I've been wearing the same pair of pants for like 4 years. I mean, you know, how can you not notice that shit as a young man? And that's where the resentment and all that kind of shit comes in at, man. You know, and I say again, these brothers got to realize, man, it's not your fucking fault, man. You're not in control of none of that shit. She was. Why you think it was so fucked up? Why you think? She was in control of that shit. You know? I know you said you didn't have a lot of time, brother, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you believe that mothers nowadays are better or worse than the mothers from when, say, you were a child?
Let me see. You know what, man? I'm trying really hard to not go off of what I see on social media and stuff like that. Cause see, now where I live, I tend to see a lot of two-parent households and stuff like that now, these days. So the people who may have came up the way that I did, I mean, I'm not really in a position to see them, So all I really see as far as that element, the single parents and stuff like that, as far as I see of that element, I mean, it's usually either when I go around family members who are getting down like that, which is not that often, or the stuff that you see on social media. And like I said, I don't want to form an opinion of necessarily what you see on social media for obvious reasons. So, but hell, if I had to go off of like what I'm hearing out here in these streets, though, when I'm hearing these kids say, those who grew up in a similar type environment and similar circumstances than me, I mean, I'll say it's about the same,
Well,
But
let
I'm
me
just
ask you this. Have you, brother Perfectibillist, have you forgiven your mother for all the shit she did in the past?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying earlier. I made that choice. Not like I said, not necessarily for her, but for myself, though. I'm like, you know what? Let me just let it go. Cause see, one thing that I sense, in the way that we spoke. I mean, one of the last times that we spoke, one thing that I sense is that she wants to admit that she was wrong, but she just can't bring herself to say it.
No.
And I kind of feel like she's been trying to make it up somewhat, through my son. So that's how I've seen that.
So have you told her? Have you said, you know what, Mom, I'll forgive your ass for all that bullshit that you did? Have you said that?
You know what I mean? These days, I didn't say it directly to her. Now, because she will sound kind
Why
of
not?
funny. Well,
Why not?
I mean,
Why not just walk up to her and say, hey, look, Mom, I know your black ass ain't gonna admit none of the shit, but I I forgive you, Mom, for all of that bullshit. Now, I didn't forget it now. I remember now. Don't think I've forgotten any of it, but I do forgive you, Mom. I do.
well, the
Why
way I
not?
communicate, these days with like family members and stuff, I mean, I just pretty much, like I said, I mean, this shit gonna sound like a trip though, but I really just created like this, this long Facebook post, pretty much telling, family members and those who I actually knew, pretty much the same thing what I described as far as the forgiveness piece earlier. I pretty much said that, and it's like, if you knew me, then you knew I was talking to you. I mean, that's pretty much how I put that out there.
Mm. Yeah, man. I mean, cause me, I'm heavy on that shit, man. Because I know that a lot of these old mamas, you go to them and you go to and you say, "Hey, mom, remember that time, you broke that damn broomstick over the top of my head? You remember that time you threw me down the stairs? Remember that time you hit my ass in the back of the head with a shoe?" And a lot of times when your mama say that shit, you know, she'll get indignant with you and she'll be like, "I don't remember that," or she'll be like, "You lying." Now she'll say that shit. She'll say you're lying, but you're the person that the shit happened to. It happened to you. How could you possibly be lying? Why would you make up a broomstick being broke across your head or getting
Like,
hit with a shoe?
like, I know you did forget. I know you did. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, why would you make that shit up? Now, she'll pretend, because see, this is the thing. This is what kills me about these old mamas. They will get up there and they will pretend like, they forgot, it didn't happen, but it's all bullshit, man. She fucking remembers. She remembers all of that shit. All right. She remembers it. She's just hoping that you don't. She's hoping you've forgotten. Because a lot of our moms know, man, deep down inside that they were shitty moms. They know it. They know that they were shitty moms. They know it. It's just that they don't want to admit that they were failures at mothering. But see, that's the thing. A lot of them fucking were. They were failures. They were failures. And they just can't seem to get their fucking head wrapped around the fact that they were failures. Because all women think they're good mothers, even the ones that smoke crack and leave the kids with the grandmama for 2 months. You can't tell them hoes they ain't a good mama. They ain't seen their kids in 3 months. But I'm a good mother to my child. Can't even remember their fucking names and shit. You can't tell. See, one thing about your old man, if your old man is not in your life, and you finally find him when you get older and you talk to him, the first fucking thing he'll do is apologize for not being in your life. And if he was a shitty father, he'll tell you, he'll be like, "Look here, son, I know I wasn't the best father to you." Because men have something called attrition. All right. And I know a lot of brothers out there that's listening know this to be true. Their father wasn't in their life and they finally found him when they got older. The first thing that fucking man did was say, "Hey, look, son, I should have been in your life, man. I was a fucked up father, man. I apologize for not, being there for you." That's the first thing that man says. But your old mama, you live with her 16, 17, 18, 19 years. She will never admit to being a shitty mom. No matter how many times she broke your nose, no matter how many times she threw your ass down the steps, no matter how many times she punched your ass so hard that you saw stars, she will never say, "Hey, look, son, I know I wasn't the greatest mother." She will never say it. She'll give you that line. "Well, I did the best I could." Or she'll say, "Well, that's how I was raised."
Like, yeah,
What
see,
is
I've been
that?
hearing both of those over the years, man. I've been hearing both of those for a long time.
That's not fucking
Verbatim.
attrition, man. It's not. God damn it. If you was a shitty mom, fucking admit it. Free yourself. Free your goddamn self. If you treated your kids like shit, face it. Don't take that shit to your grave. You know how many people's mothers that I knew took that shit to the grave? The brother that I grew up with, because me and him the same age, his mom died 2 years before my mom died. His mom's died in 2012. He said, "Man, X," he said, "all the shit." Because his mother used to literally throw him in fucking scalding hot water, man. And he would come out the fucking house with blisters and shit all over him. And you know, we was 9 or 10. We was stupid. We thought it was normal. We'd be laughing and shit. Ha ha ha, boy, you got in trouble the other night when we should have been calling the fucking police. Do you know his black ass mama went to her fucking grave, man? Never even mentioning it. Like, he said he had brought it up to her like 2 years before she died, and she did exactly what I said. I don't remember that.
It kind of makes you wonder now, man. Kind of makes you wonder now, like, because when we have these discussions and whatnot, like, you know, you have some people who make it seem like it's more of a recent phenomenon, which may have happened within like the last couple of decades and stuff like that. But remember, like that scene from Good Times where you had Janet Jackson's mom, who was the single mother, you know, burning her with the iron and stuff like that. So obviously that may have been a big enough thing back then for them to actually base a real, you know, a show shedding some light on the issue, which makes you wonder, like, man, how long has this shit been going on? You know,
yeah,
these extremely abusive single parents or single mothers, you know.
Yep. And no one wants to talk about it, man. People want to sit back and say, oh, y'all brothers, y'all got mommy issues and all this kind of nonsense. Shit, that probably wouldn't be. I think that that's totally ridiculous. But guess what? If you had a mama that was fucking burning you and beating you and throwing you down the stairs and beating you with bats and switches and all this kind of nonsense, would it be such a stretch for a brother to have mommy issues if he was fucking brutalized by her for 16, 17, 18 years? I mean, that's the stupidest thing in the world to say to somebody. If you fuck, well, I guess all those women who got men beating their fucking asses, I guess they got spousal issues too, right? Do they have spousal issues from this motherfucker whooping their fucking ass every day for every little thing, giving them black eyes and bloody noses and broken jaws and swollen lips, huh? But they'll talk, oh, you got mommy issues. I believe a lot of brothers do have mommy issues. If they had you shitty ass hoes as moms, I mean, come on. That's like the stupidest thing in the world to say to somebody, especially somebody who was brutalized by their old mama their whole life. You would expect them to have mommy issues, I would think, right? And not even so much as mommy issues, but that maternal hold that mommy has on them have them thinking even into adulthood that the shit was normal, that it was love. It wasn't normal. It wasn't love. I tell people all the time, I got a real big dog, right, that roams my yard. And I don't beat that motherfucker. And he does all kinds of shit. He chews up my tools and shit. Sometime, you know, motherfucker be chewing handles off of my equipment and all that kind of shit. And guess what? I don't beat that motherfucker. He's a fucking dog. He's a dog. I don't starve that motherfucker to death. I don't take him and choke him and throw him off the balcony and kick him and hit him with shoes and shit. He's a fucking animal. You got children.
You know, and that's one of those things that I've talked about as well, man, how people like to equate, you know, beating a child with discipline. Like, no, it isn't. You know, no, because see, I think about a cousin of mine. I mean, you know, he's older than me, you know. And the thing about this guy, I mean, the thing about him is, see, you know, I mean, you know, much the same thing, you know, maybe not to the extent of me, but he talks about how he used to get beat with extension cords and get whooped a lot when he was a kid for doing, you know, such and such XYZ. But hell, this dude turned out to be one of the most feared fucking killers around New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to where this motherfucker here can walk to any part of New Orleans uptown and people were scared of him. You know, and he'd been in it, you know, in and out of jail his whole life. Well, from his early teen years up in, well, shit, he just got out from doing 10 years. But yeah, so he grew up to be one of the most feared killers around, you know, around our section. But he got plenty of whippings though. Yeah, you got plenty of those.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have to understand, man, that how you're treated and what you go through, man, as a child has a lot to do with, you know, the parents that you have. And in the long term, this is something that I always say. If you had shitty parents and you turn out to be a decent dude, that's more so on you. Just like if you had good parents and you turn out to be a fucked up dude, it's more so on you. Now, if you had shitty parents and you turn out to be a shitty person, that's pretty much on your parents. If you had good parents and you turn out to be a good person, that's on your parents. So we have a lot of people out there who have these shitty parents who abuse the shit out of these kids, man, do all kinds of shit. I talk about all this shit, fucking mama boyfriend raping the kids and all this kind of nonsense. And we have these parents who let these children endure this shit. And somehow these children grow up and they come out of it. Do you know that these women, they will take credit for these children becoming something, even though they treated that child so badly when they were little? They will literally take the goddamn credit for the child becoming something. They will.
Yeah,
They will take the credit,
but have
but
you
they
ever
won't take.
noticed?
Go ahead.
No, but have you? I mean, yeah, they'll take credit for the occasional LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Name any athlete, rapper, or whomever, right? But they won't take credit for all the guys in the streets selling dope and killing. No,
Nope.
they won't take credit for that. That's due to an
Yeah.
absence of fathers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, if he become LeBron James or Floyd Mayweather, or Eddie Murphy or somebody like that, hey, I raised him right. But you let him grow up to be a motherfucking killer, robber, rapist, burglar, knocking over liquor stores and stealing cars and shit. First thing she'll say is, I don't know what's wrong with that boy. But see, that's the thing. She probably had more to do with him becoming a robber. Those mothers had more to do with him becoming a robber as opposed to those mothers who had the LeBron Jameses and the Floyd Mayweathers. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
The
but
reason
see,
why those boys grew up to be LeBron James is because men came into their life and gave them guidance, counsel, instruction, training, discipline. It didn't have shit to do with their black ass mama. Because if those men didn't come into those boys' lives, they would be the robbers and fucking killers. They would be the burglars and drug sellers and knocking old ladies in the head in subway and shit. That's what would have happened. But they will never cop to that. And people will tell me, because I have people tell me this shit all the time. Oh, y'all blame y'all mother for everything. Y'all blame y'all mother for everything. No, my problem is when we try to blame mama for nothing. When we think mom had nothing to do with anything. She had you, she fed you, she gave your ass food. You can't blame her for nothing. You was in her body for 9 months. So she must have loved you. That's stupid. That's stupid.
and you
How
owe
the
for
hell
that.
she? Yeah, you owe her because she laid down, fucked, had you, fed you, clothed you, housed you, and put you on the school bus. So you owe her whatever you do. If you fuck around and become you don't even have to become a millionaire. You know how many brothers like yourself that I talk to and where their mother treated them like shit. I had dudes, man, that their mother's boyfriend molested them. And to this day, they mama thinks that these dudes, because they made something out of themselves, because I know a lot of engineers and shit like myself and IT guys. They mama think that she's owed something, always want money and always running that, I'm your mama shit. I had you. I went through 9 months of pregnancy with you. 20 hours of labor. You know, she be running that shit down on them. Never mentioning the baseball bat she used to hit them with. Never mentioning the belt buckle she used to beat them with. Never mentioning, you know, the throwing them down the stairs she did. Never mentioning the locking them in the basement and not feeding them to them. Never mentioning that. Just mentioning, you know, the 9 months of pregnancy, you know, the 20 hours of labor, you know, I
Basic
had
biology.
you. Yeah. And because of that, now that you know, this engineer, now that you know, this IT professional, you know, now that you own your own store, guess what? You need to take care of me. You need to do the shit for me that I never did for you. Even though when you were younger, I barely fed you. I barely clothed you. I barely housed you. I left you at grandma's house every other year for 30 days and you never saw me. Never mentioning that shit now. That shit don't get mentioned. You know, she mentions the labor and the pregnancy, and you know, she always tell them, "Oh, you know, I put my life on hold for you." You know,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she didn't have shit to do with what they became, though. Nothing,
And see,
nothing.
I've told my son. I mean, well, my son's only 6 years old, but I've told him, like, look, man, you don't owe me and your mom anything. All right, you don't owe us anything. Cause see, like, first of all, we had you because we wanted you. All right, you only owe somebody if you ask them for something. You didn't ask us to be born. All right, so you don't owe
Yep,
us anything for us bringing you into this world. I mean, so
nope,
hey, you're here because we wanted you here.
yep.
Period.
We chose to bring your ass here, so you know,
Exactly.
we don't owe you shit. You know, but men, we don't think that way, man. I mean, my children live very good lives. You know, they do a lot of good shit and they have good jobs and shit. You know, one of my daughters studying to be a psychologist. You know, and they do. You know, I have an engineer. You know, in the family. You know, just like the old man. You know, but I don't ask my kids for shit. I don't ask them for shit. And let me tell you something. They offer me shit. They offer me all. I'm like, man, I don't want your fucking money, man. I don't want shit from you. Only thing I want from you is space, nigga. I don't want nothing from you. You know, I mean, but their old mama though, shit. Their old mama, boy, let me tell you something, boy. She quick to hit them up with some money and shit like that. Me, I don't. Like, you know, I don't want nothing from them. Shit. And that's the difference, man. I mean, men, we raise our kids to be independent from us. Women have a tendency to raise children to be dependent on them. See, we raise our kids to be independent from us. Women, they raise it because, see, your mama, especially if your old man ain't around, okay? If your old man ain't around, your old mama, she has a vested interest in you not being independent from her, especially if her ass does start to get old. Okay, she done start to get old. You know, she couldn't keep your old daddy around, you know, because she was just an old fucked up person. So, you know, she's kind of reading the tea leaves now, like, God damn, I'm getting up there in the age. You know, I got this son who got this good career. You know, I got to kind of keep the grips on him, you know, so this motherfucker can take care of me. You know, I might need to move in his house. You know, I might need to, you know, this motherfucker, I won't want to be in the old folks' home. You know, that kind of shit. You know, they start reading the tea leaves when they get old and shit. You know, and the crazy thing is that the shittiest of moms always expect the most from the children, especially the sons. The worst moms in the world, they expect the most. They do. You owe them, even though they broke your damn arm, even though they burnt your ass all the time, even though they whooped your ass for the most infinitesimal shit. You spill water on the table, that was an ass whooping. If you freaking if you walk too loud across the floor, that was an ass whooping. If you if you can if you wore the wrong pair of pants, that was an ass whooping. Like, you know, these women I know women, man, today. I know women today who beat the fucking kids for anything. I
Yeah.
mean, anything. I mean, the most minuscule because they didn't close the garbage can lid, because they spilt water on the counter, because they drunk juice out of the wrong cup. Like, you don't
God
beat no kid for that kind of shit unless you're one of these
damn.
old, mamas. And I think the reason why people get so mad with X when X talks about this shit is because a lot of us, man, this is our fucking story, man. You think you're the only one with this story, brother Perfectibillist?
Oh, hell
It's,
no. See, like I said, I grew up,
man,
I grew up with people who pretty much came up much the same way. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just from, just in the neighborhood that I grew up in, I know that it wasn't just me in the neighborhood
mhm.
alone.
I mean, that's just that's just the way it is, man. I mean, and it's so many of us. It's so many of us that have went through this shit. Why you think people get so pissed off, man, when they hear brothers like you and I talk about it, man? Told you, man. To date, I've had probably 25 brothers write me. Like, I know after this show, see, they don't want to make themselves known now. And they know if they write me, I won't say anything. Every time I do one of these mama shows, I get 2 or 3 emails from brothers. And they be like, X, man, I watched the shit, man, the other night, man, and I cried. Or X, man, I watched the shit, man, and fucking, it was like you was describing everything I went to. There's something to this, man. Believe it or not, I was on ODJ's show, O'Shea's show. It's been a while, like a few months. And I was the lead off because he does, the Sunday Rumble shit. And he
Okay.
had OX as the lead off. And the subject was, do black men hate their mothers? And we talked about this shit. And let me tell you something. There were so many brothers in that fucking chat room, man. There were so many brothers that were, I mean, the chat room was going crazy, man. It was going crazy because so many of us have been through this shit. So many I'm telling you, tomorrow I'm going to have at least 2, 3 emails because I get them every time I do one of these shows. Every time. Talking about this shit. Where brothers, so like I said, a couple brothers, man, wrote me and said they fucking cried when they listened to the shit. Because
Mhm.
this shit is real. All right? This ain't just entertainment. This ain't just, X on here with Perfectibillist, trying to get views and likes from y'all. This shit is real, brothers.
And
And
for
it
anyone
need to be
listening,
talked about. Go
and for
ahead.
anyone, and I'm just gonna say, and for anyone listening, just know that I've actually held back. All right, I've actually held back. So
Yep.
just
Yep.
keep that in mind.
Yep. And there's a lot of brothers out there just like you, man. But they say this shit is good, man, when they hear it. That's why, I couldn't wait. Like I said, this last night was the first night I've been on in the last, like 2 to 3 weeks. So I wanted to hit you up, man, because like I said, I know we were supposed to connect, like weeks ago. And I said, when I come back, I gotta get Brother Perfectibillist on, so we can talk about this shit. Plus, this is one of my favorite topics any fucking way.
Yeah,
I mean, because this shit need to be talked about, man. And good look on that super chat, brother Deadly Raver. Good look on that, brother. Yeah, I mean, we have to talk about this kind of shit, man. And I've been accused of, oh, you hate black women. Oh man, you all bash black
yeah.
women. No, the
See,
fuck, no, the fuck I don't. What I hate is these old mamas who treat their children like shit. I hate them motherfuckers, yeah. I sure do. I sure fucking do. You goddamn right.
No,
So if you one of them, I hate your black ass too. Go ahead.
I just want to say, man, it's pretty much like I've said on many other panels, man. I mean, people love to throw around these words, right? These trigger words. Oh, they
Mm-hmm.
accuse you of hatred. You hate your mother, or you're bash, all that kind of stuff. But what they never do is they never say that you're lying about anything, right?
Yep.
They never do that. They never challenge the validity of what you're saying. It's just always, oh,
Yep.
you're spreading hatred and that sort of a thing.
Yep. Yep.
And
But you know how it go though, brother Perfectibillist. If you can't counter the argument, attack the process and attack the person who's making it.
exactly, ad hominem. You know what I'm saying?
Ad
So
hominem. Shit. You
that
never
ain't
hear
the
them say,
move.
oh, you lying about this old mamas. You're lying. You're lying
Exactly.
about these old mamas.
That's what
I've
I'm waiting
never
on.
heard it.
That's what I'm waiting to hear. I'm like, well, damn. I mean, y'all say a lot of stuff about these guys, who speak this way, but I've yet to. Y'all call us a lot of things. Y'all say a lot, but I've yet to hear the word liar.
Nope. Because they know they mama used to fucking hit them across the head with the baseball bat too. They know their old mama used to whoop them with them goddamn rose bushes with the thorns on it. They know they mama used to beat them with that fucking clothes hanger. They know they mamas, especially these old hoes. They know they mama used to allow their old boyfriend to rape them and shit. They know their old mama would leave them and go off and be gone for weeks. They know it. They know it. Why do you think so many of us are fucked up? Why? How can we be surprised
And
when you
see, and
got
that, oh, go ahead, go ahead,
this
go ahead.
kind of shit? How can we be surprised, brother Perfectibillist, when women grow up to be baby mamas 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 times over? When they grow up to be trollops, hoes, thoughts, doing all kinds of shit on social media. How can we be surprised when brothers grow up to be killers, robbers, rapists, 15 baby mamas, drug users, drug dealers, robbing liquor stores? What can we fucking expect from these people when they being raised by these fools? What? How can we be surprised if this motherfucker grow up to rob liquor stores and knock old ladies in the head? How can we be surprised? How can we be surprised when these women grow up and have 6 and 7 and 8 fucking baby daddies? That's what their mom did.
Yeah.
That's how can we be surprised when these young girls are very promiscuous, when mom is allowing her boyfriend to rape her from the time she's 9? I mean, and people are still saying, oh, y'all can't blame the woman. Oh, where's the father? What do you mean, where's the father? If the father was there, none of this shit would be happening. Yes, I give you that. But it's all right for it to be happening just because the father isn't there. So we should excuse it all because, see, that baby father wasn't there. Yeah, the baby father wasn't there, but her black ass was there. I
So let
mean,
me ask you
that's
something.
basic. Go ahead.
So you say that you own a business, right?
Yes.
Which employs people.
Yes.
So let me
Yes.
okay. So basically, let's say that one of your employees, he's off for the day, you know, and the people who are there, they didn't get the job done that they were supposed to get done today, and they come and tell
I
you,
don't
oh man, you know what?
I
It's
don't
the fault of the guy who wasn't here today, who was off. Blame him. He blame
he is supposed to do it, goddamn it, but he left. Yeah.
blame.
And you talking about basic stuff. I mean, fine. I'll even give them this argument, which I always do. I'll give them this argument. Things would be different for children if mama had daddy around. I get it. I understand that. But basic things like, number one, the child being fed properly. Number two, the child being protected from being raped, molested, that kind of shit. I mean, These are things that should be happening for this child, whether the father is there or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't sit up here and tell me that, you want to justify this child getting raped and molested because the father wasn't there. You want to justify this child not eating because the father's not there. You want to justify this child having their nose bloody, burned, beaten with iron fucking rods, beaten with extension cords, beaten with the freaking racetracks like brother Brandon was saying earlier. Like, you trying to justify that shit because the father isn't there? Well, let me tell you this. If a child lived with just his father and this shit is going on with that child, would you be saying, well, if the mother was there, that wouldn't be happening? Come on, man. Come on. This is basic shit. This is the
Yeah.
basic rearing of a child. And the fact that your ass couldn't keep the child's daddy around does not justify you damn near killing this child. Does not justify you starving this child. Does not justify you allowing this child to be molested. Does not justify the bruises, the burns, the cuts, the bloody lips, the bloody noses, the fucking scalding water, the burned with irons, the throwing down the stairs.
I'm
No.
glad you said that part, man. I'm glad you said that because I mean, when I was in elementary school, I mean, to some degree, a little bit of middle school as well. I forgot about that, but yeah, I would go to school, marked up in certain places and stuff like that, and people asking me, yo, what the hell happened? Like I said earlier, man, I became really good at making up stories to throw off, revealing what's going on at home, man. People would actually
Yep.
see it, you know,
Yeah.
but it never
Yeah.
occurred to me to tell the truth. It never did,
How can
but
you, man? How can you when your mama got you living a lie, man?
yeah,
A lot of us just live a lie, man. Our whole fucking life is a lie. It doesn't become the truth until we get the fuck away from her. I'm
yeah,
telling you. A lot of us, our whole lives is a fucking lie. We go into school with bruises and shit on us. We gotta lie to the white folks, tell the white folks we fell on something and all this kind of nonsense. Meanwhile, mama beat the bricks off of us with a goddamn stick that was wider than the width of our fucking arm. We gotta go to school and lie to the white folks and say we fell on something. Yeah, we fell on something. That motherfucking stick with the motherfucking nubs and thorns on it that mama put across our ass because, we put on the wrong pair of pants and shit. Good look, brother Nuruddin. What's good with it, man? Good look on that super chat, brother.
but you know what, man?
Yeah, man.
One quick word on that necessity piece. Just doing, like I said, providing the necessities. Personally, I mean, this may sound a bit extreme, but I don't celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day. I really don't. Even though I am a father now, I don't celebrate that day because, see, again, this may sound extreme, but I have a view where I'm like, look, I don't praise people for doing what they're supposed to do. All right. I mean, even though I'm a father, I don't want your damn Father's Day gifts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you don't get no props for that. I mean, at least that's how I see it, at least for me, because of how I came up. I mean, somebody may say that I have a very I have a very acute, view of these sort of matters, man. Because on one hand, you see people. I mean, I grew up seeing it my whole life, man. People who do the bare minimum for their kids, but they think that they deserve the utmost. That they think that you should throw a damn parade for them every day. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But with
Yeah,
me, I'm like, man, look, you don't get props for doing what you're supposed to be doing.
exactly. Well, see, what I've noticed when I talk about these things, man, and other people talk about these things, what I've noticed is that what's good, brother Art? I see you up there, man. It's my people right there. What I've noticed is that the basic things that we do as people, people look at it as, well, she did clothe them and house them and raise them. She could have gave them away. She could have had an abortion. She could have, she
Like
could have killed
that's the
them.
standard now. That's the standard.
Yeah, yeah. Long as you had them and didn't let them die, it's all good. You gave them food, you gave them water, you gave them some clothes and gave them a house. Long as you did that, you're great. Because see, you could have just let them die. You could have just, gave them away. You could have, left them in a garbage can. This is the shit you hear. This is the shit you fucking hear from these people that, well, at least she kept them, at least she raised them. And when you say what you just said, like, hey, those your kids, you supposed to take care of them. Don't you know some of these old hoes, they'll be like, oh, it's a lot of women out there who they don't do none of the stuff. They don't. So what the fuck does that mean? That means your ass need to be praised because you did that much more than the next woman? Come on, man. Come on. Good look on that super chat, Judge Zilla. Appreciate that, brother. Good look on that. Yeah, man. You did this much more than the woman who put her baby in the garbage can. You did about this much more, but we supposed to give you a round of fucking applause when you walk into the room. Come on, man. That's stupid. That's stupid, man. Come on. That's like me saying, yeah, I do what I'm supposed to do, because I pay my car note, I pay, my lights and my internet bill. Yeah, throw me a parade because I make sure my dog have food and shit. He's my dog. I'm supposed to feed that motherfucker, ain't I? Who's supposed to feed him? The neighbors? Are the neighbors supposed to throw shit over the fence and feed my fucking dog?
Yeah, let's talk about her. It's a strong black man for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a strong black man because I make sure my dog have food and shit. Come on, man. So sick of hearing that kind of bullshit, man. Come on, man. Grow up. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of women out there who are decent mothers and they try hard. I know because I bring them on here. Okay. Yeah. I've had them on here on the TPOT YouTube page. All the mothers that I brought on this show are good mothers. Some of them are married. Some of them are not. But guess what they do, man? They look out for them kids. They take care of them kids. They provide for them kids. You know what they ain't on here doing? Looking for a ticker tape fucking parade because they do it. They're not. They're not looking for no damn ticker tape parade because they feed, clothes, house their kids and take care of them and make sure they get a good education. And they're not looking for that shit. Why? Because
funny. It's the mindset, man. I guess you can say it's the mindset, man. See, these good women who are not on here looking for praise for doing the bare necessities or, for doing what they're supposed to do, rather. Now, those are the women who had kids because they wanted to. Now, you got these other ones who think they deserve the highest praise for doing what they're supposed to be doing because they didn't want the kids in the first place. All right. So to them, hell, I guess to them, but them following through and actually doing what they're supposed to do. I guess that is a big deal to them, considering that they probably didn't want the child to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, because they adjusted to having a kid, Hey, I didn't want the baby, but once the baby was here, I gave him food and water, and put him on the bus. Yeah, I put him on the bus, every morning, and all that kind of shit. Even though, by the time he was 9, these old freaking Negroes that I was traipsing back and forth in the house was molesting them and going into their rooms and shit at night. But, that's how I was raised. It was good enough for me. So, I turned out all right. See, that's the thing. See, a lot of people went through it too. Okay. A lot of these women, they went through it too. They did. And I gotta admit, because a lot of us, we go through that kind of shit. We do. But see, they went through it, and like you said with your child, you went through it, so your thing is to be the exact opposite of that. a lot of these so-called parents, they don't take that take on it. They take it was good enough for me. I was raised that way. I turned out fine, even though I got 7 baby daddies and I live in a studio apartment with all 7 of my kids. I turned out just fine. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
got a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out of, and every fucking thing we own can fit in the trunk of a Toyota Corolla. But guess what? I turned out just fine. And see, that's the rub, because a lot of these people who do this shit to their children, these people didn't turn out fine, man.
Yeah.
They didn't turn out fine. Because see, if they turned out fine, they wouldn't be fucking brutalizing those kids. You can't tell me it's a stable motherfucker who brutalizes a little child, man. That you ain't a stable fucking person. I don't care what you say. You're 5 times that kid's size. Okay? You 5 times that kid's size. I have seen videos, man, where these fucking women, man, I mean, they are hitting these children, man, with haymakers. I mean, they hitting them with credible Hulk punches, man, like knocking these kids to the floor. I seen one goddamn video a couple days ago where this woman, I mean, she knocked this child to the floor, man, and was stomping this child. And after she had stomped her a good 5 or 6 times, boy, she was coming down on her, I mean, from all the way up here. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Yeah. See,
I was like,
I couldn't watch that. I couldn't do that.
I was like, I could, man, when me and Baba Tunde did a show like this, right? And I put some videos up that I had got off of Baba Tunde's site. And I mean, these was little tykes, man. I mean, these tykes couldn't have been no more than 2, 3, 4. Man, I seen these women kick them, step on their heads, uh, body slam them. I mean, punch them like they were adults. And man, I looked at that shit and I said, man, I said, these kids don't got no daddies, because ain't no
Oh hell
fucking
no.
way in the world that a man is gonna let these hoes be whooping on his babies like that. I mean, punching these kids, man, like these kids was grown folks. I mean, hitting them with haymakers, brother perfectibillist. I covered my eyes when I want, like, really, girl? Really? What could that child have possibly done, man, to make you brutalize them that bad? What they do? Drop a piece of paper on the floor? Huh? Did they forget? Did they forget to tie their shoe or something like what? What? Even
They
that girl,
feel
because
something.
when me and Brother Supreme did that show, and he was showing the video of the girl beating that child, I said, maybe the young fella did do something wrong in school, but I don't care what he had did or said. It did not warrant the punishment that he got, and it definitely didn't warrant the punishment that he got in front of everybody. And I told Brother Supreme, I said, you look at how she did that young man. What do you think he gets when he's home? If she
Yeah.
can beat him like that out in
In the public
public,
side.
what do you think he gets when he's home? How bad? She probably beat that boy to the point where he can't walk,
And you know
where
what?
he can't move.
When he got home that day, it probably happened.
Oh yeah, he got beat to sleep. You know how you get those beatings and you just go off somewhere and go to sleep. You just
Yeah,
crawl somewhere and just go to sleep. Wake up and examine your bruises and shit like
you
that.
can't just
Damn.
deal with it,
You know?
man.
I mean, this is what we have, man. And I'm a true believer that this is one of the main things that fucks with black society. Okay. These are some of the main things that turn black people into degenerates. Now, I'm not saying it's the whole thing. I'm not saying it's everything,
That's a
but there's
great deal.
something to, yes, it's something to this shit. And some of us, we come out of it. We break free of it. we stop keeping the secrets and all that kind of shit. We do. We do. But a
Well,
lot of us don't, man.
I think you hinted at it earlier, when you asked like whether or not I became violent or anything like that, you know. And there's that aspect, man, because when you come up like this, and one thing I noticed about, people who came up pretty much the same way as me, I mean, there seems to be a severe lack of conflict resolution skills, man. When it comes to, how you solve things. Your first instinct is to, want to use your fist or, some form of violence one way or another, you know. So there's that. But then you see somebody who had a father in their lives, you know, when they get into conflict, I mean, don't get me wrong. Now, these are not guys who you're just gonna fucking put your hands on, and it won't be anything like that. But these are guys who was like, you basically got to put your hands on them or something like that for them to fight you, basically. But these are
Yeah.
the kind of guys
Yeah.
who you walk up to them on that tough guy shit, like, what you gonna do, bitch? Andy? What you gonna do? You walk up to them like that. They might try and talk it out with you first, like, man, chill. I don't want to go there with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's on your mind? I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that seems to be the difference, man. Like a lack of conflict resolution skills, especially because when you're
Absolutely.
dealing in a household where virtually everything, I mean, when it really comes down to it, like it's not discipline that you're getting. You're basically doing shit to piss her off. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you say something to
Yeah.
piss her off, to make her, to embarrass her or whatever. That's really all it is. Because if you
Yeah.
ask her, okay, so what are you teaching that child by beating them because, like you said, they put the wrong pair of pants on or they spill
Yeah.
some juice on the floor? I mean, what are you teaching them by beating them for doing that? Like, what's the life lesson in that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we can't be surprised, man, when you said that you was violent and shit, because see what it is. Many of us, we don't see that shit as violence.
No.
We don't see what happens to these small children, man, as violence. And these old mamas definitely don't. You think they consider that violence? The shit they're doing to these kids when they're
I mean, you
kicking
see,
them
that's
in their
discipline.
ribs and yeah, that's discipline. That's not violence. What? Oh, I stepped on his head. Oh, that's just discipline. I kicked him in the ribs a couple times with my boot. Ah, that's not violence. That's discipline. So when we grow up, we have this skewed, bastardized view of violence. I'm telling you, we do.
Hmm.
We were raised, if you're raised on violence that's being masked as discipline and love, guess what? You trying to tell me that doesn't that doesn't skew, your view of violence and love and discipline? Come on, man.
Because I
Come
remember being in
on.
school, bro. I remember being in school, and this was like, well, depending on which time period we're talking about, middle school or elementary and middle school, that would have been like the early, let me see, elementary and middle school for me would have been basically all throughout the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So we used to always in school have these, presentations and counselors and people like that who would, go out of their way to talk to us about conflict resolution. Like they would hold special like programs and stuff like that about it. Showing you videos on this is how you resolve a conflict, that sort of thing. And we'll look at
Mm,
that shit like, man, you don't get the fuck out my face, man. Man, nigga say something,
mm,
nigga try and play with me. I'm gonna fuck over that dude. You try and play with me, man. I'm gonna do you this. I'm gonna do you that. That was the mindset. I don't want to hear about no fucking talking it out, bitch. I ain't talking shit out. That was the
exactly.
mindset, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you're young, man, your mother doesn't, a lot of these mamas, they don't talk shit out with these kids, man. Like I said, I've seen kids get beat over the littlest of shit, man. They crack these little tights across the head because they came out there with the wrong pair of sneakers on. They crack these kids across the head because they put on, their shirt on backwards. Like, he's a fucking kid, man. He's 5 years old. You got him putting on his clothes. He puts his shirt on backwards and you crack him across the head. I mean, what, like you said, what's the lesson in that? you know, because he put on the wrong pair of pants. You crack him across his head and shit, knock him down to the floor, you know, because he got his shoes on the wrong feet. Like, come on, man. He's a kid. You know, you're not teaching them anything. Because see, these old mamas have taken fear and turned it into discipline of love. Okay, something called the discipline of love. I love you so much that I'll bust you in your damn head if you come out there with the wrong shirt on. I love you so much that if you spill some juice on the table, I'm going across your head with this damn stick. I love you so much that if you walk too hard across this floor, I'm going to throw your ass down the stairs. See, it's called the discipline of love, is what it's called. See, they love them so much that, you know, they'll bust them in the head with a baseball bat, you know, because they didn't tie their shoe. You know, that kind of shit. And see, it makes perfect sense to them. Because the first thing they'll say is, oh, you don't tell me how to raise your kids. Then they'll come up with all these scenarios about, oh, some women, you know, they abort their kids. Some women, you know, they throw their kids out a window. Some women, you know, they stab their kids with forks and shit like that. They'll tell you shit like that to kind of, you know, make it seem like the shit they do
ain't that
isn't
bad.
that bad. Yeah, that ain't that bad. I kicked them in the ribs, but you know, some women, you know, they shoot their kids.
Yeah, man. Shit, crap.
I mean, it makes no sense because see, no one wants to admit failure. Okay, no one wants to admit, hey, I'm a fucking failure. I get it. You know, I mean, I think that's what's behind a lot of it, man. No, you will never hear a woman say, I'm a bad mother. No matter how bad a mother she is, no matter how bad a mother she displays, because I see a lot of bad mothering on the fucking internet. I mean, you know, you've seen these videos. You
Yeah,
think
man.
any of those you think any of these old hoes would be like, you know what, y'all, like they get on there and justify it. You know, they'll get up there and say, you know, I know y'all judging me. Don't judge me. You know, I do the best I can, you know, for my kids. You know, I'm not that bad, you know, because some women, you know, they stab their kids, you know, with broken glass. Yeah, they will never get up there and have one of those videos, you know, one of those public service announcements they do, you know, to try to justify their shit. They will never get up there and say, well, you know, I got all this negative feedback from y'all, and you know, I'm going to try, you know, to change my ways. And yeah, it was wrong, you know, to beat the boy till he bled, you know, and you know, I just haven't been a good mother. You think you're gonna get that fucking PSA? Hell no. Hell no.
And you know
Hell
what?
no. You're not gonna see it.
And if anybody out there has seen it, please show it to us. Please.
Yes.
Just one.
Yes.
Just
Anybody,
one.
I challenge anybody who's watching this and got a problem with it. Send me the goddamn video where one of these old mammies is on here or anywhere else actually showing some goddamn attrition for the shit that she's done to her children. Please, because I'll put it up here and I'll play it and I'll give her credit to. I'll be like, well, look here. See this, y'all? This is a woman who has attrition. Yeah.
I'm gonna say give credit specifically to her because you do
Oh, yeah,
have
just
people,
her now.
you know what I'm saying?
Not the rest of them hoes.
Because you do got people out there who think that because you find one person, because you find an exception, that exonerates everybody. You got people who think that.
Well, you know, a lot of us inside Black society, man, we base our arguments off of one-offs and shit. You know, like I've heard many people, you know, because I get on these old mamas. And, you know, I've had people tell me, well, I know somebody, you know, they came from a mama who had 7 baby daddies and they grew up to be an astronaut. I'm like, yeah, you know somebody out of 40 million of us. Name 10, motherfucker. Name 20, name 30, name 50. Get the fuck out of here. You know, come on, man. Yeah, one-offs and shit.
Let's do some odds and probabilities on that one.
Yeah. Well, we don't. Well, you know, we don't believe in data unless the data makes us look good. Okay. Now, if the data don't make us look good, it's skewed. It's white man's facts. It's propaganda. It's all this kind of bullshit. But if the data makes us look good, shit, we all for it. You know, oh, according to such and such and such and such study, all black people are
Like,
this and that. You know, if it's if it's some shit that's good. But see, if you read a couple paragraphs down on that same study, it's some shit on there that don't make us look too good. They will tell you that
part
same
wrong.
study
That part
is
that part right
wrong.
there. That part right there is wrong. You know what I'm saying? But the rest of
But
that shit, man.
the rest of that shit, thumbs up. I mean, come on, man. I
Yeah,
mean, we
man.
gotta fucking be honest, man. We have to be honest. There's an honesty thing, man, that permeates through black society, man.
That's
And
how that should be, bro. That's how it be.
I don't think
Niggas
we haven't caught on to the shit, man. We haven't, you know, I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's a lot of my folks out here. What's good, man? Brother RJ, my people
Dr.
out there,
Phoenix,
Brother Johnny,
RJ came
Doctor,
through.
yeah, Dr. Phoenix in the goddamn house. If y'all brothers want to come up, let me know, man. I don't know how long I got, Brother Perfectibillist, but if y'all want to come up and talk about,
I got to strike out in a little bit, man. But you know, we
these
can.
old mamas, yeah. I mean, but I appreciate you coming on, man. You know, I know this probably wasn't easy, you know, recanting the tales of you know, the shit you went through, man. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate the courage, you know, and the you know, the candidness, man, of you know, coming here and articulating it and talking about it, man, because I know that shit couldn't have been easy, brother.
Oh no, I mean, well, you can definitely see that, but hey, I mean, I put it out there, you know. And besides, I mean, we talked about doing a show together, you know, before, anyways, man. So,
Oh yeah.
you know, why
Oh
not?
yeah. Oh yeah. I appreciate it, man, and I hope it's my hope, you know, all the jokes aside and these old mama you know, triggers that I got up here on my shit. You know, I hope that, you know, I hope that this was something that helps you, you know, free, you know, yourself from that shit. Cause I know it's not easy, man. Cause like I said, I grew up with brothers who went through this kind of shit. And to this day, man, you know, and we 50, we guys that's in our 50s, man. And they still kind of, you know, they still kind of talk about it, man. And this is shit that happened, you know, 40 years ago, you know, 30 years ago. And they still are, you know, I talk to them about it. You know, they talk to me about it because they know it's one of my favorite subjects. And you know, it still kind of bothers them. It still kind of lingers, you know, and I just hope that you are a brother who have you know, broken free of it, man, and you know, you don't let that shit hold you or shackle you, or you know, and you took what you had going on with you, man, and use it to be a better parent to your own children, man. That's, you know,
pretty much.
that's all we can hope for, man.
Pretty much. And that's the reason why I said, you know, I held back on a lot of what I could have said, man, because like I said, man, I'm in the process of, I mean, because I recently had that train of thought recently, that forgiveness train of thought recently, man. I mean, we're talking about, like, I want to say sometime last week, I was just going over that thought process. And I'm like, man, you
Mm,
gotta let these things go, man. Let it go. It's eating you up, you know, it's slowly killing you. So let it go. I mean, it happened, it's fucked up,
yeah.
but you gotta let that go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
you know, and just forgive the people. And I'll say it
Yeah.
again. No, not for their benefit, but for myself.
That's
So
right.
there's
That's
that.
right, man.
And I
That's
guess
right.
one
Cause
last thing, one last thing I'll say is that me coming on here having this discussion is not to just get on here and talk some shit. You know, that's not the reason. It's like it's really more so about showing, you know, what people who live this stuff and or have lived it, what it actually does to people. I mean, this is not just some stuff where okay, um, their minds heal when the wounds heal. No, 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 no,
yeah.
no, no, no. It's not that. I mean, this is something that can last for a long time. You know, mentally. You know, I mean, especially when you start talking about doing these things and playing these mind games with people when they're, at these early ages, when their minds are most fertile, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely going to stick with you then. So
Yeah.
this is more so about showing, what's going on and what the long-term consequences are, like how you're screwing over people. I mean, this is not just about boys. I mean, this is about children in general,
Children.
you know.
Yeah, it's about children.
So yeah, so in closing, like I said, not to come on here and talk trash, but to shine a light on how it affects people over the long haul.
Yeah.
So
And I hope folks got something out of it, man. I mean, because like I said, brother, perfectibilist, man, every time I do one of these shows, I get at least 2, 3 emails, man. Because somebody's out there watching and they went through the shit too. They went through it
yeah,
too, man. It's not like it's just you or just that person. I mean, a lot of us go through this shit, man. And
yeah,
and it's fucked up. And we need to talk about it because we need to free more brothers. Like I always say, man, stop keeping the secrets, man. Free yourself from that shit and move on with your life, brothers. And I welcome the emails. I do. I rap to the brothers. Sometimes, we do a little behind the scene, kind of hangout type shit, Skype and shit like that, and I'm no counselor, far from it. I'm a mechanical engineer. I ain't no fucking counselor, but I'll talk to the brothers if they want to talk and all that kind of shit. I don't have a problem with that, man, because a lot of our brothers need to be freed, man. They need to be freed from this bullshit, man. They do. I don't want you to go into your old age like people that I know, man. I know brothers in their 40s and 50s, man, who still are fucking suffering from the bullshit ass mama that they had and shit. I don't want that to be y'all, man. I want you free from that shit, man. I don't want
and
you
that's a pretty
shackled and
big deal,
handcuffed.
man.
Yeah, I don't want you shackled and handcuffed by that shit, man. I want you to be free, brother. This is why I do it,
Yep.
brothers.
Yeah, like I
I
said,
don't
man.
do it. I don't do it just to be doing it, man. I do it so you can be free. Of course, X is gonna put his bullshit in there and make jokes and talk shit, but of course, it's a serious thing. Why do you think I talk about it so much, man? I don't do it for nothing. I do it for the brothers. I don't
Yep.
do it for these old mamas. I don't do it for them. I
Cause
don't. I
I'm telling
do
you,
it
man.
for the
For a lot of
brothers.
black men, just being able to say it without somebody, trying to challenge you and tell you how wrong you are and you shouldn't be saying that, just to be able to say it without getting that kind of pushback. People who just want to listen to you, who genuinely listen to what you've got to say and understand you. As simple as it may sound, that's a pretty big deal,
Yep.
because usually you start talking like that, you get shot down right away, you
Yeah.
know. Don't
Yeah.
talk about your
It's,
mama like that.
yeah, we worship old mama no
She
matter
could have
how bad
she could
she
have killed you, boy.
yeah,
All
yeah,
that kind of shit.
she took care of you, she gave you food and water, she made sure you lived, that kind of shit. I mean, like, come on, man. We need to stop that shit, man. Quit giving these old mamas so much credit, man, for fucking and having us. Like, come on, man. It's more to being a parent than fucking having us and giving us food and water, man. There's a lot more to being a parent than that. I mean, you expect more than that of a parent from a father, but if a mother lay down, fuck, have you, give you food, water, a pair of sneakers and some clothes and put you on the fucking school bus for fucking 10, 15 years, it's a fucking accomplishment. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's stupid. Come on, man. That's dumb. That's dumb. It's more to being a parent than that shit, man. Oh, she had to do it all by herself. Yeah, she did it all by her motherfucking self. She should have tried to be the best at it, not the fucking worst, man. The fuck out of here, man. Tired of that shit. Tired of it. These old mamas. Cause see, I'm the type of brother, I don't give a fuck what women do. Okay, women, you can do whatever you want. Go out there, sling your old funky pussy, do whatever you want to do, man. But when the shit you do starts to affect the children, that's what bothers me. Because see, the little tykes are innocent, man. They didn't ask to be here, just like we said earlier. They did not ask to fucking be here, man. They didn't. So you shouldn't be able to take out your frustrations on them. You shouldn't be able to fucking brutalize them. You shouldn't be sitting around allowing them to get molested and hurt and harmed. You should be focused on their fucking education. You should be putting your selfish fucking needs to the side for them. You should.
Yep.
I don't give a shit. And anybody who disagrees is a fucking idiot. All right? And I don't give a shit because I know most of us are raised by old jackass mamas. So I'm talking to all you old jackass mamas out there who ain't doing the right thing. Hopefully you'll fucking straighten the fuck up for the kids' sake. For the kids' sake. Hopefully you'll straighten up. You ain't raising the future robbers, rapists, killers, burglars, gun-toting fucking degenerates. Like I said before, we can't be surprised we got a lot of motherfuckers running around here with no direction or nothing else. Look who the fuck is raising them. Look who's raising them, man. Come on. We can't be surprised. We can't. So, once again, man, I appreciate you coming through, brother. And
yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, we got to do this again, man.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I got your info. You've got mine. You know, I mean, we'll definitely be in touch.
Because I'm gonna be doing another one of these. It's a series. It's a series, so it's not like this is the last old mama show. We're gonna have. So feel free to come through whenever you want, man. Because you always welcome on the TPOT
appreciate that, man.
YouTube page. All right.
All right, man. I'm gonna catch you later.
All
right,
peace, brother. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, just got off the line with the brother Perfectibillist, man, and he told the tale tonight, y'all, that we hear oh so fucking often. It's like I was saying things, just in jest, because X, man, I'm always talking shit about these old mamas, and he actually thought that he had mentioned some of the shit I had said because, see, the stories of everyone is so similar that all I got to do is talk about one story and it's damn near in sync with the next. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that all of us were not raised in a house where our mother burned us, beat us, threw us down the steps, and stomped on our head and bloodied our noses. I know we didn't all grow up in a house like that. I know that. But too many of us did. Enough of us did to matter. It mattered. Now you'll hear people say, oh, don't blame your mom. Oh, y'all got mommy issues. Can you blame those brothers for having mommy's issues? For the shit they went through? Now, mind you, once you get a certain age, and you get the fuck away from your old mama, it's probably best for you to kind of try to snap out of it, grow out of it, shake it off. I think that's best for you. But the sad truth is, a lot of us never do. A lot of brothers never do. And it probably doesn't help matters when you got an old mama around you, constantly in denial and constantly convincing you that all the shit that was going on with you when you were younger was love. And how, it was the best she could do. Really? Really? Throwing us down the stairs and beating us with clothes hangers and kicking us in our ribs and busting us across the head with a high heel shoe? that was the best you could do, Mom? Really? Come on. Now I understand that a lot of these old mamas, they were frustrated. They weren't so much frustrated with you, man. Like I always say. They were frustrated with your daddies. They was frustrated with the goddamn men that didn't want their asses. Wasn't so much you. It wasn't you, brother. She was frustrated with something else. She was frustrated with her life. She was frustrated with the fucking decisions she made. She took those frustrations out on you. It wasn't you. When she went across your head with that broomstick because you put a piece of paper on the floor, she wasn't beating you because you put that piece of paper on the floor. She was whooping your ass because you reminded her of that old daddy of yours that didn't want her black ass. When she whooped you for putting on the wrong shirt and cracked you across your head with that extension cord, it wasn't because you put on the wrong shirt. It's because she was frustrated with that Negro that sired you and he left and married the next bitch. That's what it was about, man. It was never about you. It wasn't. And we walk around here like this shit was our fault. You heard the brother earlier. He talked about how he thought he was evil. He thought he was the devil. Why? Because that's what he was told. You're an evil kid. You're a bad kid. You the devil. Probably being told that ever since he was a little toddler. So of course he thought he was the devil. Of course he thought he was evil. Of course he thought he was a bad kid. It's all his old mama was telling him. You the devil. You a bad kid. Go out there and get me a switch so I can whoop your ass with it, you little devil. But what you brothers got to understand, man, it wasn't because of you. It wasn't. It wasn't because of you. It's because of her. You got in the way of the shit she wanted to do. It was because of you that made her think that her life wasn't what it was supposed to be. At least that's what she convinced you of. She wanted you to think it was your fault, everything. I think she beat you so bad, man. Had you thinking that you was possessed. And boy, she was trying to beat that evil ghost out of you, boy. You weren't possessed. She was. She was. She was the demon. She had those awful, evil spirits in her that she was saying you had in you. It wasn't you. It was her. It was her. She had mental problems. She didn't have enough sense to know that she shouldn't be doing that to such a small person. She didn't have enough sense to know that she was 3 and 4 times your size. She didn't have sense to know that she could really possibly hurt you as a kid. She didn't have the sense to know that no matter what you did, you didn't deserve to be physically punished like that. Why? Because she didn't care. She didn't care. She didn't. I don't give a shit what she says. She didn't care, man. Now, she may have pretended to care as long as your old man was in the picture. But if your old man fucked around and was out of the picture, boy, that was it for you. You were doomed. Because, see, now she didn't have to pretend anymore. And she absolutely, positively could take out her frustrations on you now. She'll grow across your head right now. And you 25 if she thought you would allow it. Just that now you're 6'3". You weigh 220 pounds. Of course, she ain't gonna cross your head now. But boy, she would if she thought you would allow it. Because that's your old mama, man. Now, I know y'all don't like it when old ex get up here and talk about your old mama. But y'all know a lot of the shit old ex say is true. Y'all know it's true, man. Y'all do. Y'all know it's true. It's sad. It's hard. It's critical. But it's all true. Now, I said before, people always go, oh, man, you hate black women, X. No, I don't. But I do hate some of these old mamas. And I don't hate them for nothing. I hate them for what they do to these children, man. They're the worst abusers of children. That's just a fact. There's no denying it. Look it up. They're the worst. And I don't give a shit what excuses they make. Lack of fathers, lack of support, lack of maturity, lack of all this bullshit. I don't give a damn about none of that crap. You know right from wrong. I know that. And it's wrong to brutalize these fucking children. It's wrong in 2019. It was wrong in 2009. It was wrong in 1999, 89, 79, 69, 59, 49, 39. It was never right. And it's never going to be right. So the justifications, you can keep that shit. Keep telling yourself that the shit is right. Keep telling yourself it's right to brutalize a child. Keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself that it's the way you grew up. Keep telling yourself that it's discipline. Keep telling yourself you're saving them for what's going on out there. If that's the case, why so many of our fucking kids lost? Why? If all this beating and trauma and brutality and whippings is for the good. If it's all for the good, why are so many of these children lost? Why? I mean, they're getting plenty of whippings, right? None of them should be in jail, right? None of them should be running around toting guns. None of them should be getting shot in the street, right? None of them should be on drugs, right? Keep telling yourselves that. Keep telling yourselves that it's normal. But in reality, We know it's not. We know it. It's just that we cannot tear ourselves away from the indoctrination, the fucking worship, and the philosophy of these old mamas. I'm just saying. But anyway, I appreciate y'all all coming out tonight, man. Decent show, serious topic tonight. You know, serious stuff. Yeah, we back now, y'all. You know, I know it's been a while. Next week, got another show lined up. We're gonna be here Wednesday and Thursday for another good DXL. I think I'm gonna have a special show for y'all next week. I'm working on some shit, man, that y'all might just like. You know, so you gotta tune in next week, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the TPOT YouTube page to find out what's going on, folks. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, man. But now what I want you to do is I want you to get your black behinds down to Facebook. Go ahead to Proper the Thought series on Facebook. That's Proper the Thought, one word, series, the next word on Facebook. Go ahead, check it out. That's our main page. It's a community page. It's not one of those personal pages. Go down there, check the page out, like the page, share the page, follow the page. You can even catch up with old X down there. You can drop me a line, guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. And while you're there, make your way down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. That's the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Go ahead. Sign up to be a member. You're guaranteed to get in. If you have problems, drop OX a line. I will talk to the admins and I'll get you up in there. Don't worry about it. It's usually some pretty good shit going down in there, man. You know, it ain't just OX down there talking shit. There's other folks down there talking shit too. So go ahead and check us out over there. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper the Thought on Instagram. Proper the Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. You're guaranteed to get a follow back, guaranteed. And you know, we got to end the night like this. Get your black behinds down there to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT on TPOT Media on Twitter. Go ahead, follow us on Twitter. Because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams for the next 10 years. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, man. Good serious show tonight, man. I want to thank all my folks in this here chat room, always up there doing what they got to do, my mods and everything else. But most importantly, I want to thank you for showing up and spending some time with us and watching us tonight, man. It's always appreciated. So with that, and special thanks to Brother Perfectibillist, man, because the brother came, shared his story, man, and he didn't have to do it. So I appreciate it, brother. And like I said, man, don't let it be the last time you find yourself on the TPOT YouTube page. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your mind.
Dark Exodus. Dark Exodus.
Peace, folks.
The protest. Dark Exodus. Open your Dark Exodus.
Only from TV. Open your